All right, the first thing we're gonna do is we're using a brush that's specifically for the wax, so don't take any of the other brushes that are out in the classroom. It's only the ones that go with the wax, and we're gonna brush it on the very bottom and then on the side edge about 1/4 of an inch. You wanna do this so that when we actually dip in the high fire glaze, it's easy to get the glaze off, okay? Because you'll have to clean off the bottom before we fire it. So it only needs one coat of the wax resist. Don't get it on your clothes. Don't get it anywhere other than where you're trying to get it because it doesn't come out. It just burns out in the kiln. So take care when putting it on. Also, if it drips onto the side of your piece, you can't get that off. It just has to burn out in the kiln. The next thing is when you're actually dipping your project into the high fire glaze, you need to stir it with the mixing stick before you start on every single dip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it at an angle with just my thumb and the middle of my hand. Just use the minimal amount of fingers as possible when dipping. Hold it at an angle and then go in at the side, all the way in immersed. And then pull it out and hold it upside down as you pull it out. So it's completely in. Make sure it's totally covered. And then pull it out upside down. And then blow on it because you may have air bubbles that you want to get out. So blow on it and then let it dry in between coats. You'll need about 2 to 3 coats depending on the glaze. If the glaze is really thick, then only 2 coats. If it is really thin, then 3 coats. Right here, I'm just covering up on the top part where I have fingerprints, and again, wait till it dries. So it needs to dry in between coats before dipping, and then at the very end just put little droplets of the glaze to coat it. As you can see, the first 2 dips I did were with black, and this is a totally separate pot, totally new pot that I had dipped in a different color that I just want to show you. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to clean the glaze off of the very bottom. So you get a little sponge and get it in some water and kind of squeegee it out, and then wipe the side edge and the very bottom to clean all the glaze off. So it can't get fired until you've done this. So make sure you wipe it completely off. And when you're dipping, make sure that the wax is completely dry before you actually start dipping. And while you're waiting for the wax to dry, you need to have it upside down or else it'll get stuck to the table. And then I'm going to show you after this how to just trail on another color. So on this pot, I had dipped it in a blue color, which, because the glaze doesn't look like what it looks like in the bucket, it'll turn blue. And then I'm trailing on black. So all you do is just hold it over the bucket, make sure you mix the bucket before you do this, and then just put little droplets on. Take care not to actually touch it while you're doing it. You want the minimalist amount of fingerprints when doing this. So after you trail it, you still need to clean the bottom off again. And then I'm just going to go back and show you a project before it has been glazed. This is the wax. This is how you have to store it until it's dried. So put it so that it's upside down while it's dried. And then this is something that's been glazed correctly. It's evenly coated and it's shiny. This is a gloss cobalt blue, and this is something that is not glazed correctly. What happens if you dip it too many times or hold it in the bucket for too long? It will separate and do this, and if it's too thin, then it doesn't come out either.